The alien ships moved into attack formation around the Liberty. They spread out in a circle, each one pointing its weapons at the human vessel. Their crystal hulls glowed brighter as they charged their energy systems. Morrison could see the power, building up inside each enemy ship through the bridge windows. "Look at them," said Commander Zalketh from the alien flagship. His voice came through the open communication channel. "They're not even raising shields. These humans must be too stupid to understand what's about to happen to them." More laughter echoed from the alien fleet. Other commanders joined in the mockery. They spoke in their own language, but the translation computers picked up words like primitive and helpless and easy target. Morrison sat quietly in his captain's chair. He watched the aliens position themselves exactly where he wanted them. Every movement they made was being recorded and studied by his crew. The Liberty's computers learned from everything they saw. Chief Engineer Danny Walsh worked at his station in the back of the bridge. His hands moved over controls that looked normal but did extraordinary things. Deep in the ship's belly, systems came online that had never appeared on any official Earth military records. The Liberty was much more than it seemed. Reactor core. Stable, Walsh reported. "All hidden systems are responding normally. The mimetic armor is working perfectly, Captain. They still think we're just an old patrol ship." The mimetic armor was one of humanity's greatest secrets. It could make the Liberty look like anything the crew wanted. Right now, it showed the aliens exactly what they expected to see. An old, weak ship with basic technology. But underneath that disguise, the real Liberty was something completely different. Dr. Helen Carter studied readings from the experimental quantum core that powered their most advanced weapons. This technology was years ahead of anything the aliens had. Human scientists had built it using ideas stolen from a dozen different alien races, then improved those ideas in ways their original creators never imagined. "All weapon systems showing green lights, Captain," Dr. Carter reported quietly. "The quantum displacement cannon is ready to fire. Energy absorption panels are at full capacity." Morrison nodded. The aliens had no idea what they were really looking at. The Liberty had been built as humanity's first prototype superweapon. But instead of making it look dangerous, human engineers had designed it to appear harmless. Every battle scar on its hull was carefully maintained. Every dent and scratch was put there on purpose. "Captain," said Lieutenant Amy Foster from the communications station, "I'm picking up transmissions between their ships. They're placing bets on how fast they can destroy us." Morrison almost laughed. The aliens were so confident that they were treating this like a game. They had no respect for human abilities. That lack of respect would cost them dearly. Weapons Officer Steve Collins powered up the Liberty's primary weapon systems. His control panels showed energy readings that would have shocked the aliens if they could see them. The ship's main cannon was charging with power levels far beyond what its external appearance suggested was possible. Phantom cannon charged. "And ready, sir," Collins reported. "All Nightmare protocols are standing by for your command." The Nightmare protocols were special programs designed to turn the Liberty from a seemingly weak target into the aliens' worst fear. These systems had been tested in secret for years. Today would be the first time they were used in real combat. Morrison activated the ship's internal communication system again. "Attention all crew members. In about 30 seconds, the aliens are going to attack us with everything they have. They expect us to be destroyed instantly. Instead, we're going to show them why humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy." He paused and looked around the bridge. Every person there was calm and ready. They had trained for this moment for years. Remember, we're not just defending ourselves. We're sending a message to every alien race that thinks humans are weak. That message is simple. Never underestimate us. Admiral Vexitar's voice crackled over the speakers again. "Humans, you have 10 seconds to surrender. After that, we will demonstrate the power of Zephyrian technology. Your ship will be turned into space dust." Morrison stood up and straightened his uniform. "Admiral, we've considered your offer very carefully. Our answer remains the same. We respectfully decline." The alien admiral's lizard face twisted with anger. "So be it. All ships, prepare to fire. Target their engine section first. I want to watch them drift helplessly before we finish them off." Chief. Walsh monitored energy readings from the approaching alien weapons. Their quantum disruptors were indeed powerful. They could tear apart the molecular structure of most materials. Against a normal ship, they would be devastating. But the Liberty was far from normal. "Captain," Walsh said quietly, "their weapons are charging to full power. Based on their energy output, they're planning to hit us with enough force to destroy a small space station." Dr. Carter checked her readings one more time. "Our adaptive armor is ready, Captain. The quantum absorption matrix will convert their attack energy directly into power for our weapons. The harder they hit us, the stronger we'll become." This was another human innovation that the aliens had never seen before. Instead of just blocking enemy attacks, the Liberty's armor absorbed them and used that energy to make the ship more powerful. It was like being fed by the very weapons meant to destroy it. Morrison sat back down in his captain's chair. "All stations, prepare for incoming fire. Remember, we want them to think they've won, at least for a few seconds." The bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency. Every person knew exactly what to do. They had practiced this scenario hundreds of times in training simulations. But this was real. This time the galaxy would see what humans could really do when pushed too far. "Energy spike detected," reported Collins. "All alien ships are firing." Simultaneously, Morrison watched the main screen as dozens of bright energy beams lanced through space toward his ship. The combined firepower heading toward the Liberty could have melted a small asteroid. The aliens clearly intended to completely destroy the human vessel in one massive attack. "Impact in 5 seconds, announced Dr. Carter. Morrison gripped the arms of his chair. Steady as she goes. The alien weapons struck the Liberty with tremendous force. Brilliant light filled the space around the ship as quantum disruptors tore at what they thought was simple steel armor. Energy readings spiked off the charts. The attack continued for nearly 10 seconds, wave after wave of destructive force hitting the human vessel. Then the light faded. Space became quiet again. The aliens stared in shock at what they saw. The Liberty sat exactly where it had been before, the attack. Not only was it undamaged, it looked completely unchanged. Not even a scratch marked its hull. "Impossible," whispered Admiral Vextar. "Direct hits from our entire fleet. How are they still there?" Morrison smiled. "Now it's our turn." 6 months after the complete destruction of the Zilithian Third Fleet, Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of humanity's first interstellar warship. The Earth vessel Retribution was unlike anything humans had ever built before. It used the same exotic matter technology that had destroyed the alien invasion, but now it was designed for long-range missions. Jake was no longer just a captain. The Earth government had promoted him to admiral and put him in charge of humanity's response to the Zilithian Empire. His mission was simple but terrifying. Find the aliens who had attacked Earth and make sure they could never threaten humanity again. "Admiral," said Commander Kelly Davis, his second-in-command, "we are approaching the edge of Zilithian space. Long-range sensors are detecting multiple alien colonies ahead." Jake studied the tactical displays that showed star systems controlled by the Zilithian Empire. Red markers indicated planets where the aliens had military bases and civilian populations. For over 1,000 years, the Zilithians had ruled 12 star systems with absolute power. That was about to change forever. "Signal the fleet," Jake ordered. "All ships prepare for dimensional jump. We are going to show the Zilithians what happens when you attack Earth's children." Behind the Retribution, 49 other human warships materialized from faster-than-light travel. Each ship carried weapons that could destroy entire planets if necessary. The humans had not come to negotiate or make peace. They had come to finish what the Zilithians started. Admiral Kate Sullivan coordinated the invasion from her flagship, the Earth vessel Judgment. She had been promoted after her success in defending Earth, and now she commanded the largest military force humanity had ever assembled. "All ships report ready," she announced to Jake. "Quantum field generators are charged. Exotic matter weapons are loaded. We can begin the attack on your orders." The first Zilithian colony world fell in less than an hour. The aliens' defensive installations, built to stop conventional plasma weapons, simply disintegrated when hit by humanity's dimensional warfare technology. Not a single human ship was even damaged in the attack. Dr. Amy Rodriguez, now serving as head of alien technology research, monitored the capture of Zilithian scientific facilities. "We are recovering massive amounts of data," she reported. "Their research shows they have conquered 17 different species over the past 2,000 years. General Rick Hayes commanded the ground forces that occupied the defeated alien worlds. His soldiers used the same advanced armor and weapons that had defeated the Zilithians on Earth. Alien military units surrendered without fighting when they saw what human technology could do." "Zilithian ground forces are laying down their weapons," General Hayes reported. "They remember what happened to their invasion fleet. They know resistance is hopeless." What terrified the Zilithian leadership was not just humanity's superior weapons. It was the cold, methodical way humans applied their technology. There were no demands for surrender, no offers of peace negotiations. The human response was total and unstoppable. Dr. Lisa Parker studied the psychology of captured Zilithian prisoners from her mobile research station. "Their entire culture is built around the idea that might makes right," she explained to Jake during a strategy meeting. "They have never encountered a species that could match their military power." The systematic conquest continued for months as human fleets moved deeper into Zilithian territory. Each alien world that fell provided humanity with new resources and new information about their enemies. The Zilithians had kept detailed records of every species they had conquered and destroyed. Captain Ben Carter led diplomatic missions to worlds that had been enslaved by the Zilithians for centuries. His message to the oppressed alien populations was simple and effective. "Join humanity's alliance, and we will protect you from anyone who threatens your people. The Zilithian Empire is finished." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Species that had suffered under Zilithian rule for generations rose up in rebellion. Worlds that had been forced to serve the Empire declared independence and asked to join the human alliance. Lieutenant Commander Steve Miller established research stations on captured Zilithian worlds, turning former alien military bases into centers for human scientific advancement. Each installation provided new insights into galactic technology and civilization. "We have recovered the locations of over 300 alien species throughout this region of space," Steve reported. "Most of them were either conquered or destroyed by the Zilithians over the past millennium." The war against the Zilithian Empire lasted 18 months, but the outcome was never in doubt. Every alien world that resisted was quickly defeated, by weapons they could not understand or fight against. Every species that joined humanity's alliance was protected by technology that made them safe from any threat. The end came when the Zilithian High Command finally realized their empire was collapsing. Rebellions were spreading across their territory as more alien species joined the human alliance. Their military forces had been completely defeated in every engagement. The alien leadership sent a desperate message to Admiral Morrison, begging for mercy. The transmission came from their capital world, deep in the heart of what had once been their mighty empire. "We surrender unconditionally," the Zilithian High Command transmitted. "We offer to withdraw from all conquered territories and pay reparations for the damage we have caused. Please spare our species from extinction." Jake received the surrender offer while standing on the bridge of the Retribution as it orbited the Zilithian home world. Below him, the planet that had been the center of a galactic empire was now completely defenseless. General Rick Hayes delivered humanity's response during the formal surrender ceremony. Representatives from dozens of liberated alien species attended, as witnesses to the end of Zilithian rule. "You attacked our world without warning," General Hayes told the trembling alien leaders. "You targeted our civilians and our children. You sought to commit genocide against the entire human race." The general paused, looking directly at the Zilithian High Command. "Your surrender is accepted, but understand this clearly. Humanity now controls this region of space. You exist only because we choose to let you live." Dr. Lisa Parker's final report summarized the transformation that had occurred. In less than 2 years, humanity has evolved from a single-planet species to the dominant power in a 12-system region. Our technology now exceeds anything the Zilithians possessed. Jake established humanity's new policy toward other alien species during a gathering of representatives from across the former Zilithian Empire. His words became the foundation of human galactic law. "We offered peace first," he announced to the assembled aliens. "When that was rejected, we demonstrated the consequences of threatening human civilians. Any species that attacks innocent people will face the same fate as the Zilithians." The galaxy had learned a new lesson about humanity. Humans might appear to be just another emerging species, but they possessed something that their enemies consistently underestimated: the determination to protect their own at any cost. In the HFY ruins of the former Zilithian capital, a memorial was erected with a simple message written in dozens of alien languages. Here stood an empire that attacked Earth. They were warned. They did not listen. Remember their fate and choose peace. The human warning had become a promise that echoed across the stars. The Zilithian retreat turned into a complete disaster as more human weapons came online. Ships that tried to escape found themselves trapped by gravitational fields that prevented any faster-than-light travel. What had started as a confident, alien invasion was now a desperate fight for survival. Commander Zethkar's flagship was falling apart around him. Hull breaches appeared in sections that the human weapons had not even directly targeted. The exotic matter torpedoes were creating chain reactions that spread through his ship like a disease. "Emergency power failing," reported his engineering officer. "The human weapons are causing our systems to collapse from the inside." Zethkar finally understood the terrible truth. These were not primitive humans with simple technology. Earth was defended by weapons that operated on principles his scientists had never imagined. The Zilithian Empire had attacked something far more dangerous than they realized. "Send a message to any ship that can still receive it," Zethkar ordered. "Priority emergency transmission to Zilithian High Command. Tell them we have encountered a species with technology beyond our understanding." But even this desperate message could not be sent. Captain Ben Carter's ships maintained their blockade around the solar system using technology that bent space itself. No communication could escape, and no help could arrive. Dr. Amy Rodriguez watched the alien attempts to call for help from her monitoring station on Earth. "They are trying every frequency and every communication method they know," she reported to Admiral Sullivan. "None of their signals are getting through our dimensional barriers." The aliens were learning what it meant to face humanity when humans were truly threatened. For 50 years, Earth had prepared for this exact situation. Every defense system, every weapon, every strategy had been designed around one simple idea: if aliens attacked Earth's civilians, the response would be total. Lieutenant Commander Steve Miller activated the next phase of humanity's defense network. Deep space installations that had been hidden throughout the outer solar system came online simultaneously. These platforms had been built over decades using technology reverse-engineered from the alien probe that crashed in 1975. "Outer system defense grid is now active," Steve reported. "We have weapons platforms operational near all major planets and moons." The new installations began firing immediately. They used exotic matter cannons that could create artificial black holes at any location in the solar system. Zilithian ships that thought they were safely retreating suddenly found themselves being pulled into gravitational anomalies that appeared from nowhere. General Rick Hayes coordinated the ground assault as human forces completed their victory over the alien landing parties. The Zilithians had put troops on Earth's surface to capture major cities, but those soldiers were now completely surrounded and cut off from their ships. "All alien ground forces have been neutralized," General Hayes reported. "We have captured their equipment and taken prisoners for interrogation." The captured Zilithian soldiers were in shock. They had been told that humans were weak primitives who would surrender easily. Instead, they had faced soldiers wearing armor that made them nearly invisible and carrying weapons that could destroy tanks with a single shot. Captain Morrison received reports from battlefields across the globe. The alien invasion had been stopped completely. Not a single Zilithian soldier remained free on Earth's surface, and their fleet in orbit was being methodically destroyed. "Zilithian fleet strength is now down to 20%, reported his tactical officer. "Most of their remaining ships are heavily damaged and cannot fight effectively." Dr. Lisa Parker monitored the biological signs from captured Zilithian prisoners. Her instruments showed stress levels that were beyond anything her equipment had measured before. "The aliens are experiencing complete psychological breakdown," she reported. "They cannot accept what is happening to them." The truth was that the Zilithian Empire had never faced serious resistance before. Every species they had conquered had either surrendered quickly or been destroyed by superior technology. They had no experience with an enemy that could match their weapons and tactics. Admiral Sullivan prepared to activate humanity's most powerful weapon. Throughout the solar system, installations that had taken 20 years to build were ready to combine their power into a single devastating attack. "All stations report ready for final strike," she announced to her command staff. "Solar energy collection grid is fully charged." The weapon that Admiral Sullivan controlled was built around Earth's own sun. Hidden installations throughout the solar system could focus and direct solar energy into a beam that could destroy entire fleets. It was humanity's ultimate deterrent, built in secret over 2 decades. Commander Zeth Ka watched helplessly as his remaining ships were picked off, one by one. The human weapons seemed to ignore distance and obstacles. Ships hiding behind moons were destroyed by beams that appeared from nowhere. Vessels trying to escape were caught by gravity fields that crushed them like insects. "We cannot fight these creatures," he told his surviving officers. "They have turned our own physics against us. Our shields are useless. Our weapons cannot touch them." The alien commander finally understood why humans had given them a warning instead of simply attacking. It was not because humans were weak or afraid. It was because they were offering mercy to an enemy that did not deserve it. Captain Ben Carter's task force had completed its mission of cutting off alien escape routes. No Zilithian ship would leave the solar system alive to report back to their empire. The attack on Earth would appear to be a complete mystery to alien high command. "Perimeter is secure," Ben reported. "All enemy vessels attempting to escape have been destroyed. The blockade is holding perfectly." Dr. Amy Rodriguez prepared to channel the full power of Earth's energy grid into the solar focusing array. Power plants across the planet that the aliens had thought were simple factories were actually components of the most powerful weapon ever built. "Power transfer is ready," Amy announced. "We can fire the solar lance at your command." Admiral Sullivan looked at her tactical display one final time. 43 Zilithian ships remained operational out of the original 300. They were scattered across the solar system, damaged and helpless. Their mighty invasion fleet had been reduced to wreckage in less than 6 hours. "Fire the solar lance," Admiral Sullivan ordered. The weapon that fired was not a beam of energy in any conventional sense. It was concentrated stellar power, focused through gravitational lenses, positioned throughout the solar system. When it struck the remaining Zilithian ships, they simply ceased to exist. The alien fleet that had come to destroy humanity was completely gone. Not a single ship survived to carry word back to the Zilithian Empire. As far as the aliens knew, their third fleet had simply vanished without a trace. Commander Zeth Ka had just enough time to understand what was happening before his ship was vaporized. In his final moments, he realized the horrible truth. The humans were not the primitives his empire had expected. They were something far worse. They were the species that would end the Zilithian Empire forever. The battle began with explosions that lit up space like fireworks. Commander Zeth Ka watched in horror as his flagship's shields collapsed under weapons that should not exist. The massive alien ship began to crush inward on itself as space bent around it. "Impossible!" Zeth Ka hissed through his sharp teeth. "Their weapons showed primitive energy readings. How can they have technology beyond ours?" His bridge officers scrambled at their control stations, trying to understand what was happening. Warning sirens screamed throughout the ship as hull breaches appeared in sections that had not even been hit directly. The human weapons were doing things that violated everything the Zilithians knew about physics. Captain Ben Carter's voice echoed across the human communication network from his position near Jupiter. "Valiant engaging enemy Squadron 7. Exotic. Matter torpedoes away." The weapons that launched from Ben's ship looked like tears in reality itself. They moved through space as dark streaks that made the stars disappear behind them. When they hit the Zilithian ships, the alien energy shields did not just fail. They collapsed inward, creating small black holes that sucked the enemy vessels into nothingness. "Direct hit on 3 enemy ships," Ben reported. "They are completely gone. Not destroyed, just gone." Admiral Kate Sullivan coordinated the attack from her underwater command center. Massive weapon platforms rose from the Pacific Ocean floor, breaking through the water's surface for the first time in 50 years. These installations fired beams of energy that could reach across the solar system in seconds. "Ocean defense grid is fully active," Admiral Sullivan reported to Captain Morrison. "Quantum field cannons are firing at maximum power." The quantum weapons created beams that existed in multiple dimensions at the same time. They passed through the Zilithian shields as if the alien defenses were not even there. When the beams hit their targets, entire sections of alien ships simply stopped existing. Lieutenant Commander Steve Miller watched his tactical displays from beneath the ocean. Waves. "Enemy fleet is taking massive casualties," he reported. "They have lost over 60 ships in the first 2 minutes of combat." Commander Zeth Ka could not believe what his sensors were telling him. The humans had weapons that manipulated space and time itself. Their energy readings were beyond anything in Zilithian science. Ships that had conquered worlds were being destroyed by creatures the aliens had dismissed as primitives. "How is this possible?" he demanded of his science officer. "Our intelligence reports showed they had only chemical rockets and fusion power." "Commander!" the science officer replied with fear in his voice. "These energy signatures are beyond our understanding. They are using forces we have never seen before." Dr. Amy Rodriguez monitored the battle from her position in the underground command center. The power plants and factories across Earth were revealing their true purpose. Instead of making electricity and products, they were channeling planet-sized amounts of energy into weapons that could destroy ships across interplanetary distances. "Power grid is stable," Amy reported. "All installations are operating at maximum efficiency. We can maintain this level of fire for hours." What the Zilithians did not understand was that humanity had been preparing for this day since 1975. That was when a damaged alien probe had crashed in the Sahara Desert. Human scientists had spent 50 years studying that probe, learning alien technology, and then improving it. Dr. Lisa Parker had been part of that research project. Her job was not just to study alien biology, but to understand how their science worked. "The aliens are trying to send distress calls," she reported to Captain Morrison. "But our dimensional shields are blocking all their communications." "Captain, Ben Carter's ships had created an invisible barrier around the entire solar system. No Zilithian message could leave Earth's local space, and no alien reinforcements could enter. The Zilithian fleet was completely cut off from their empire. "They are trapped," Ben reported. "Our spatial displacement field is holding. Nothing gets in or out without our permission." General Rick Hayes coordinated the ground battle as human forces emerged from hidden bunkers across Earth. Soldiers wearing armor that operated on the same principles as their starships stormed the alien landing zones. The Zilithians had put troops on the ground to capture human cities, but now those troops were surrounded. "Ground forces are engaging," General Hayes reported. "The aliens are discovering that their plasma weapons cannot penetrate our new armor." The Passergio, human soldiers moved like ghosts, using dimensional phase technology to appear and disappear at will. Their weapons fired beams that passed through Zilithian energy shields and armor as if they were made of paper. Alien ground troops that had seemed invincible were being defeated by humans they could barely see. In space, more human weapons revealed themselves. Captain Morrison watched as automated defense platforms materialized throughout the asteroid belt. These installations had been hidden for decades, waiting for this moment. "Deep space platforms are active," reported an aide. "They are engaging the alien reserve fleet." The platforms used exotic matter manipulation to create artificial gravity wells that trapped entire squadrons of Zilithian ships. Once caught in these gravity traps, the alien vessels were crushed like tin cans under enormous pressure. Commander Zeth Ka realized his fleet was being systematically destroyed. Ships that had conquered 17 worlds were being eliminated by weapons they could not understand or fight against. This was not a battle anymore. It was extermination. "Send emergency signals to the High Command," he ordered desperately. "Tell them the humans have technology superior to our own." But his communications officer shook his head. "We cannot transmit, Commander. The humans have blocked all our signals. We are completely isolated." The systematic destruction continued. As more human weapons came online, Dr. Amy Rodriguez activated installations that created temporal distortion fields around alien ships. The Zilithian vessels became trapped in bubbles of slow time, making them easy targets for human fighters. "Temporal weapons are functioning perfectly," Amy reported. "Enemy ships are experiencing time dilation. They are moving at 1% of normal speed." Admiral Sullivan watched her displays as the alien fleet was torn apart piece by piece. The Zilithians had arrived with confidence and overwhelming force. Now they were fighting for their lives against an enemy they had completely underestimated. "Enemy fleet strength is down to 40%, she reported to Captain Morrison. "They are attempting to retreat, but our gravity fields are preventing faster-than-light escape." The aliens were trapped in a nightmare of their own making. They had come to destroy a primitive planet, but instead found themselves facing technology that surpassed their wildest dreams. The humans they had planned to exterminate were methodically destroying the most powerful fleet in Zilithian history. Commander Zeth Ka made one last desperate attempt to save his remaining ships. "All vessels, concentrate fire on the planet's surface. If we can destroy their cities, perhaps their weapons will stop functioning, but even this final attack failed. Earth's cities were protected by shield generators that turned the alien plasma beams into harmless light. The Zilithians could not even scratch the planet they had planned to conquer." Captain Morrison watched the battle from his command center and felt grim satisfaction. The aliens had chosen to target human civilians and children. Now they were learning the price of that decision. The war was far from over, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. The 72 hours that Commander Zeth Ka had given humanity were almost over. The alien commander stood on the bridge of his massive flagship and watched Earth spin slowly below him. Soon, he would give the order to destroy the planet and every human on it. Zeth Ka felt pleased with himself. The Zilithian Empire had conquered 17 different worlds using the same method. First, they demanded surrender. When the primitives refused, they demonstrated their power by destroying. the planet's military forces. Finally, they wiped out all life and took the empty world for themselves. Status report, Zethka commanded his bridge officers. All 300 ships are in position, Commander, replied his weapons officer. The planet's defense grid has been mapped. We can destroy all major cities in less than 1 hour. Zethka looked at the tactical display showing Earth's pathetic defenses. The humans had fewer than 50 warships, and most of those were old and poorly armed. Their weapons used primitive chemical explosives and simple energy beams. Their shields could barely stop a meteor impact. What about the human ships that fled when we arrived? Zethka asked. Our scouts report that most human vessels have left Earth's orbit, said the sensor officer. They appear to be running away to other parts of their solar system. Some have reached their outer planets. This was exactly what Zethka expected. Every species they had conquered did the same thing. When faced with superior Zilithian technology, the weak aliens always ran away or hid. It proved that the Zilithians were meant to rule the galaxy. What Zethka did not know was that those fleeing human ships were not running away. They were moving to carefully planned positions throughout the solar system. Each ship carried a crew of volunteers who knew they might not survive the coming battle. Captain Ben Carter commanded one of those ships, the Earth vessel Valiant. His ship was now hidden behind Jupiter's largest moon, waiting for the signal to begin humanity's real response. Ben looked around his bridge at the 37 men and women who had volunteered for this mission. Final weapons check, Ben ordered his crew. Exotic matter torpedoes loaded and ready, reported his weapons officer. Quantum field generators are online. All systems showing green. Ben nodded. These were not the primitive missiles and energy weapons that the aliens expected. For 50 years, humanity had been developing technology that the Zilithians could not imagine. The weapons on Ben's ship used principles of physics that most alien species had never discovered. On Earth, the evacuation of major cities continued. To the watching aliens, it looked like panic and chaos. Millions of people appeared to be fleeing from the cities in fear, but every movement was carefully planned and controlled. Dr. Amy Rodriguez was in charge of shutting down what the aliens thought were simple power plants and factories. In reality, these facilities had been built with a secret purpose. They were connected to a hidden network that spanned the entire planet. Pacific Grid coming online, Amy reported to Admiral Kate Sullivan. All fusion reactors are ready to redirect. Power to the defense network. Admiral Sullivan commanded humanity's most secret weapon from her base deep under the Pacific Ocean. For decades, humans had been building installations on the ocean floor that the aliens could not detect. The Zilithians thought they were scanning an empty ocean, but beneath the water lay the most advanced military complex ever created. How long until the deadline? Admiral Sullivan asked. 18 minutes, replied her aide. All ships report ready. All planetary defenses are armed and waiting. Lieutenant Commander Steve Miller oversaw the activation of weapons systems that had never been tested in real combat. Around him, massive machines rose from the ocean floor. These installations could generate and control forces that made Zilithian technology look like stone tools. The aliens had made a fatal mistake. They assumed that because Earth's visible technology was primitive, humans had no advanced capabilities. They never considered that a species might hide their most powerful weapons until they were needed. Dr. Lisa Parker monitored alien communications from the command center beneath New Geneva. The Zilithians were talking freely because they believed. Humans could not understand their language. But Earth's scientists had been studying Zilithian communications for years. The aliens are preparing for the final attack, Lisa reported to Captain Morrison. They plan to destroy every major city on Earth in the first wave, then eliminate any survivors. Jake Morrison felt cold anger fill his chest. The Zilithians were not just planning military conquest. They intended to commit genocide against the entire human race. They wanted to kill every man, woman, and child on Earth. Dr. Parker, Jake said quietly, how much do the aliens know about our real capabilities? Nothing, Lisa replied. Their scans show only primitive fusion reactors and chemical rockets. They have no idea about the dimensional phase technology or the exotic matter weapons. To them, we look exactly like a primitive civilization that barely reached space travel. This was exactly what humanity had planned. Every piece of advanced technology had been hidden using dimensional displacement fields that alien sensors could not detect. The weapons that would soon destroy the Zilithian fleet existed in a different phase of reality until they were activated. Admiral Sullivan watched her tactical displays as the final minutes counted down. 300 alien ships hung in Earth's orbit like a swarm of deadly insects. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy a city, but they had no idea what was waiting for them. All stations report ready, she announced to her staff. Quantum field generators are charged, exotic matter cannons are loaded, dimensional displacement weapons are armed. In space, Commander Zeth Ka prepared to give the order that would destroy humanity forever. His weapons were charged and ready. His shields were at maximum power. His fleet was in perfect attack formation. Begin the bombardment, Zeth Ka commanded. Show these primitives the price of defying the Zilithian Empire. That was when Jake Morrison sent his final message to the alien fleet. His voice was calm and cold as ice. You were warned, he said. At that exact moment, every human ship in the solar system activated weapons that should not have existed. Ben Carter's ship fired torpedoes made of exotic matter that bent space itself. The weapons moved faster than light and struck Zilithian shields with forces that collapsed reality around them. Admiral Sullivan's ocean installations fired beams of pure energy that reached across space in the blink of an eye. The Zilithian flagship, which had seemed invincible just seconds before, began to crumple as its shields failed completely. Commander Zeth Ka watched in disbelief as his mighty fleet was torn apart by weapons his scientists had never even theorized. The impossible was happening right in front of his eyes. Humanity had finally shown its true face, and it was terrifying. The morning sun rose over New Geneva like it did every day, but this morning would be different. Jake Morrison stood on the balcony of his apartment and watched the city wake up below him. Cars moved through the streets, people walked to work, and children played in the parks. Everything looked normal and peaceful. Jake was a captain in the Earth Defense Coalition. He had been a soldier for 15 years, but Earth had been at peace for most of his life. The biggest threat they usually faced was space pirates or small asteroid impacts. Most people believed that humanity was alone in the universe. At exactly 9 in the morning, Jake's communication device buzzed with an urgent message. He looked at the screen and saw words that made his blood run cold. Unknown ships detected. At the edge of our solar system, all military personnel report to stations immediately. Jake ran to his car and drove as fast as he could to the defense headquarters. The streets were still calm because the public had not been told about the alien ships yet. When he arrived at the base, he found chaos. Officers ran in every direction, and the communication center was filled with voices speaking quickly and loudly. General Rick Hayes met Jake at the entrance. Rick was an older man with gray hair and many years of military experience. His face was serious and worried. Jake, we have a big problem, he said. There are 300 alien ships heading toward Earth. They will be here in 6 hours. Jake felt his heart sink. 300 ships was more than Earth's entire defense fleet. What do they want? He asked. We tried to contact them. Rick replied. They sent back one message. They said we have 24 hours to surrender or they will destroy every city on Earth. Jake and Rick walked quickly to the command center. Large screens showed the alien fleet moving toward Earth like a dark cloud. The ships were huge, much bigger than anything humans had ever built. Dr. Lisa Parker, Earth's top scientist who studied alien life, stood near the screens with a worried expression. What can you tell us about them? Jake asked Lisa. Lisa pointed to the screen. We call them Zilithians based on their communication signals. We have studied some of their technology from crashed ships we found over the years. They are very advanced. Their weapons and shields are much better than ours. How much better? Rick asked. Our best weapons might not even scratch their shields, Lisa said quietly. They have conquered 17 different planets. They always demand surrender first, then destroy anyone who refuses. Jake stared at the screen. The alien ships looked like metal sharks swimming through space. Each one was the size of a small city. Have they ever faced serious resistance before? No, Lisa answered. Every species they attacked gave up quickly or was destroyed easily. They think all other life forms are weak and stupid. The hours passed quickly as Earth's defense forces prepared for battle. Jake knew their small fleet of ships could not win against such a powerful enemy, but they had to try. As the alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere, the first attack began. The aliens did not aim for military targets. Instead, they fired at schools, hospitals, and homes. Jake watched in horror as the building where his sister worked disappeared in a flash of light. The alien weapons turned entire city blocks into ash in seconds. New Geneva, where Jake had grown up, was hit by 3 massive energy beams. The beautiful city that had been home to 5 million people was now a burning ruin. Jake's hands shook as he thought about all the innocent people who had died in just a few minutes. Casualty reports coming in, said an officer at a nearby desk. 4 million dead in the first attack wave. They targeted civilian areas on purpose. Jake felt anger build inside him like a fire. These aliens had not just attacked Earth's military. They had murdered children and families without any reason. This was not war. This was slaughter. General Hayes approached Jake with a grim expression. The aliens are demanding our complete surrender now. They say we have 1 hour to give up, or they will destroy the entire planet. Jake looked around the command center. Everyone was scared and desperate. Their weapons were useless against the alien shields. Their ships were too small and weak. It seemed like humanity was about to be wiped out forever. But Jake had an idea. He walked to the communication station and activated the long-range transmitter. He set it to broadcast on all frequencies so the aliens would hear his message. This is Captain Jake Morrison speaking for the people of Earth, he said into the microphone. His voice was calm but filled with cold anger. You have attacked our world without any warning. You have killed our children and families. You have made the biggest mistake of your lives. On the alien flagship, Commander Zeth Ka received the human transmission. He was a tall creature with green scales and yellow eyes. He had destroyed many planets and killed millions of beings from different species. To him, humans were just another weak race that would soon be extinct. Zeth Ka and his officers listened to Jake's message and made sounds that were like laughter in their language. These primitive humans thought they could threaten the mighty Zilithian Empire. It was amusing and pathetic. Jake continued his broadcast. We are giving you 1 chance to leave our solar system and never return. This is not a request. This is your only warning. The alien bridge crew laughed even harder. Their ships had shields that could stop any human weapon. Their technology was thousands of years ahead of Earth's primitive rockets and missiles. These humans were like insects threatening a giant. Send a reply to the creatures, Zeth Ka ordered his communication officer. Tell them they have 1 hour to surrender completely, or we will turn their planet into space dust. Back on Earth, Jake received the alien response. It was exactly what he expected. The Zilithians thought humans were weak and helpless. They had no idea what they had just started. Dr. Lisa Parker stood beside Jake as he finished reading the alien message. They refuse to leave, she said. They think we are bluffing because we appear to have no way to hurt them. Jake nodded slowly. He looked at General Hayes and made a decision that would change everything. Contact Admiral Kate Sullivan, he said. Tell her that Operation Last Resort is authorized. Deep under the Pacific Ocean, in a place so secret that most of Earth's government did not know it existed, Admiral Sullivan received Jake's coded message. She was surrounded by technology that looked nothing like the primitive weapons the aliens had seen. For 50 years, humanity had been preparing for this day. The countdown to humanity's real response began. The Zilithians had 1 hour to learn why you should never attack Earth's children.